Picture this. Two producers, both talented, both skilled, but one's booked solid for months and the other is struggling to find clients. What's the difference between the two? Well, it's not their gear, it's not their ears, it's their story. Welcome to episode 4 of our series about creating an irresistible brand. I'm Carl Bahner, and in this episode, we're going to dive into what might be the most powerful tool in your branding arsenal, your brand story. Over the past 2 decades in this industry, I've seen countless talented producers and engineers fade into obscurity, not because they weren't good, but because they couldn't tell their story. Meanwhile, I've watched others, maybe not the most technically skilled, build thriving careers because they found a way to express their unique story, their unique experiences to their clients. Your brand story isn't just a bio. It's not just a list of credits. It's the whole narrative that explains why you do what you do, how you do it, and why that matters to your clients. It's what helps turn a casual scroller on Instagram into your next dream collaboration. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what makes a brand story compelling. We'll explore how to craft a narrative that not only showcases your skills, but creates an emotional connection with the artists who you want to work with. By the end of the video, you'll have the tools to create a story that makes you the obvious choice for your ideal clients. So if you're ready to become unforgettable, let's dive in. So let's recap what we've talked about in the first few episodes. We talked about why branding matters to producers and engineers. We talked about how to uncover your own unique brand identity and talked about finding your own niche sweet spot. In this video, we're going to weave all of that into a story that captivates your ideal clients. Take a second and think about your favorite artists. Chances are you don't just love their music, you're drawn to their story. You get excited when you see a new interview or some behind-the-scenes videos from a recent recording session. The same goes for your clients. They're not just looking for technical skills, they're looking for someone whose journey resonates with them. So what exactly is a brand story? It's not just your bio or a list of credits. Your brand story is the narrative that explains why you do what you do, how you do it, and why that matters to your clients. A compelling brand story includes your background, your passion, your unique approach, and your vision for the future. But most importantly, it shows how all of that benefits your clients. Your brand story is what makes you more than just another name on a list of producers. It's what makes artists feel like they know you before they've even met you. Let's break down the key elements of a compelling brand story. Number 1, your origin. What sparked your passion for music production? Number 2, your journey. What challenges have you overcome? What lessons have you learned along the way? Number 3, your unique approach. What makes your process different? Number 4, your values. What principles guide your work and the way that you interact with your clients? Number 5, your vision. What impact do you want to have on the music industry? And number 6, client benefits. How does all of this translate into value for your clients? Each of these elements should tie back to your ideal clients and how you serve them. Your story isn't just about you, it's about how your journey has uniquely positioned you to help them. So let's talk about how to tell your story effectively. Here are some techniques that work particularly well in our industry, along with some examples of how to use them. Number 1, use concrete examples. Instead of saying you're passionate about music, share a specific moment that ignited that passion. For example, instead of saying, I've always loved music, you could say something like, I'll never forget the first time I heard Red Hot Chili Peppers' Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I was 10 or 11 and it hit me like a freight train. I was in the basement of my uncle's house digging through his CD collection on one of those big 200 disc CD changers. And from that moment on, I knew that I had to be part of creating that kind of a sonic impact. Number 2, show, don't tell. Rather than just claiming that you're innovative or client-focused, describe how your approach to projects helps to demonstrate those qualities. For example, instead of saying, I'm dedicated to bringing my client's vision to life, you could say, on my latest project, the artist came to me with a rough demo and a vague idea of wanting it to sound epic. And instead of me just nodding and getting to work, I spent our first session asking questions. We listened to reference tracks together, discussed the emotions that she wanted to evoke, and even talked about the visuals she imagined for the music video. By the end of that session, we had a shared vocabulary for her epic sound. I actually knew what that meant to her. When I delivered the first mix, she was amazed at how accurately it captured the vision in her head, a vision that she really struggled to put into words. But because of our conversation and the way that we handled that first session, we nailed it. This approach doesn't just tell clients that you're attentive and collaborative, it shows them exactly how you work and the extra value that you bring to each project. Number 3, create emotional resonance. Share the feelings behind your work. Why does it matter to you? Here's an example. When I'm mixing a song, I'm not just balancing frequencies. I'm trying to help the artist bare their soul to the world. It's my responsibility as the mix engineer to honor that vulnerability and amplify the message that they're trying to express. And that's what gets me out of bed every morning. Number 4, use contrast. Highlight the difference between where you started and where you are now. You might say, 10 years ago, I was mixing bedroom demos on a beat-up Mac Mini with cheap headphones. Today, I'm working with dedicated artists from all around the world in my fully customized studio. But you know what hasn't changed? My commitment to bringing out the raw emotion in every track that I touch. Number 5, include client perspectives. When appropriate, try to weave in how your approach can benefit your clients, focusing on the experience and the value that you want to bring to them. For example, you could say, my goal for every artist that I work with is to walk away not just feeling satisfied with the sound, but feeling creatively energized. Ideally, they'd feel like our collaboration helps them discover new aspects of their artistry. Maybe they experimented with a vocal technique they were nervous about, and it became a new signature sound for them. Or maybe they found the confidence to push their songwriting in a different direction. But when an artist works with me, it's a lot more than just getting a polished track. It's about creating a space where they feel understood, supported, and empowered to push their own boundaries. By including this kind of perspective, you're not just showcasing what you can do technically, you're painting a picture of the experience of working with you, which is what ultimately helps to set you apart in the client's mind. Let's talk about some common mistakes to avoid when you're crafting your brand story. These pitfalls can turn a potentially compelling narrative into one that goes nowhere, or worse, pushes potential clients away. Number 1, being too humble. While you don't want to brag, don't undersell yourself either. And I get it. We are in an industry where nobody likes to show off. And generally, when people talk really highly of themselves, they're totally full of shit. But there is a big difference between bragging and confidently stating your value. So instead of self-deprecating and saying, I'm just a guy that likes twiddling knobs, try something like, I've spent 2 decades honing my craft to bring artists' visions to life. It's not arrogant, it's accurate. Number 2, being too technical, because you're trying to connect emotionally, not just showing off your skills. It's tempting to dive into the tech specs of your favorite compressor or the intricacies of your signal chain. But most artists don't care about that. They care about how you'll make them feel and how you'll help to make their songs better. So focus on the impact of your work, not just the process. Number 3, ignoring your audience. Your story should always tie back to how you help your clients. Your journey is important, but it's not the whole story. You need to always bring it back to your clients. How does your experience benefit them? How does your unique perspective help them to bring their vision to life? Make them the hero of your story. It may seem counterintuitive, but you want the clients to be the hero of your story. Number 4, being inconsistent. Your story should align with your brand identity and your niche. Remember the 3 niche circles we talked about in episode 3? Your style niche, your problem niche, and your personality niche? Well, your brand story should consistently reflect all of them. Let's say your style niche is intricate, texture-rich productions. Your problem niche is helping artists find their unique sound, and your personality niche is collaborative and detail-oriented. If your brand story then talks about how you churn out quick formulaic mixes or how you prefer to work in isolation, that's a pretty big disconnect. It doesn't align with the brand identity that you've established. It doesn't align with the gut feeling that you want people to have about you. Consistency across all of your branding builds trust and attracts the right clients. And when an artist reads your story, browses your social media profile, or interacts with you, they should get the same impression throughout. That's how you become the obvious choice for your ideal clients. Because your brand story isn't just what you say about yourself. It's everything you communicate, intentionally or not. So make sure it all aligns with who you really are and the value that you provide. Number 5, failing to evolve. As you grow, your story should grow too. Your brand story is not set in stone. As you gain new experiences and work with different artists and expand your skills, let that story reflect that growth. It shows that you're always improving, always pushing forward. That's attractive to clients who want to work with somebody at the top of their game. Avoiding these pitfalls will ensure that your brand story resonates with your ideal clients and accurately represents who you are and the value that you provide. Your story is a powerful tool, so use it wisely. Now, here's where it all comes together. Your brand story needs to resonate with the specific clients in your niche sweet spot. It's not just about telling a good story, it's about telling the right story to the right people. Let's break down how each of the 3 niches can be represented in your story. Number 1, your style niche. Your story should showcase your passion for the specific musical elements that you excel in. For example, if you love creating intricate, texture rich productions, your story might include how you spent countless hours as a kid layering sounds on your dad's old tape recorder. Number two, problem niche. Your story should highlight how you solve the unique challenges your ideal clients face. You don't have to force specific examples into the story. Just think about the problems that you solve for clients and how that shaped your journey and your approach. What are the problems that you solved for clients that actually taught you lessons about yourself? For example, if your specialty is helping to add all the little ear candy things at the end of the production before it's ready for mixing, you could say something like, I've always been fascinated by the details in music. And as a kid, I would listen to albums on repeat. And every time I heard the album, I would notice something new. And each time I heard something new, it made that feel special. That obsession with finding those little details, those little nerdy things, that's really what started my passion and my undying love for music. And that obsession with all those little things, that's what brought me here to where I am today. I realized my greatest strength isn't just in starting projects, but in finishing them. I've developed a knack for identifying those final touches that take a track from good to great. And it's not about big sweeping changes, it's about finding those tiny, itty bitty little moments where a small adjustment can make a huge impact. And that approach has shaped how I work with artists. I see myself much more as a collaborator in those final stages, helping them to cross the T's and dot the I's before I start mixing the track. For me, it's all about that moment when an artist's eyes light up when they're hearing the track transform from almost there to just absolutely perfect. And that's why I do what I do. I'll see how that naturally incorporated the specialty without forcing specific examples. It weaves together my background, my unique strengths, and how it benefits the artists, all while giving a sense of my passion and approach. Your brand story should naturally reflect your personality niche, the types of people who you work best with and you love to collaborate with. This isn't about listing traits, but showing your approach through your experiences and passions. Let's say that you thrive on collaborative, high energy projects. Your story might say something like, music has always been a team sport for me. Even as a kid, my favorite memories aren't of playing alone in my room, but of jamming out with friends in garages and basements. There was something magical about the energy of bouncing ideas off of each other, even if those ideas were very rarely any good. But building something together was always greater than the sum of its parts. And as I grew in my career, I realized this collaborative spirit was at the heart of my best work. What really gets me excited is the back and forth with artists. I love those sessions where ideas are flying and we're pushing each other to try new things. And then suddenly something clicks and we all know that we just kind of struck gold. I found that my favorite clients are the ones who come in with a vision, but are very open to exploration. They're not looking for someone to just execute their ideas. They want a partner in crime, someone to challenge them and help elevate their music in ways that they might not have imagined. And I want the same thing. I want artists that challenge me and make me think of things that I may not have imagined. Because to me, making music isn't about sitting in isolation, crafting the perfect sound. It's about the energy of collaboration, the thrill of that mutual discovery, and the joy of creating something together that neither of us could have made alone. And that's the kind of experience I strive to create in every project that I work on. So notice how this story paints a picture of not just what you do, but how you like to work. It gives potential clients a sense of what it would be like to collaborate with you, appealing to those who share your passion for high energy collaborative work. And it also filters out the people that don't share those values. Did you notice how those stories naturally touch on all three niches without feeling forced? They weave together your style preferences, the problems you solve, and your personality in a way that feels authentic and engaging. When you craft your brand story this way, it becomes much more than just a list of accomplishments. It becomes a window into your world, giving potential clients a genuine sense of who you are and how you work. When you craft your brand story this way, it becomes more than just a list of skills or accomplishments. It becomes a window into your world, giving potential clients a genuine sense of who you are and how you work, why you do what you do. This kind of storytelling creates a powerful connection with your ideal clients. They're not just looking for someone with technical skills, they're looking for a collaborator who gets them, who shares their passions, and who can help bring their vision to life. When an artist reads a story like that and thinks to themselves, wow, this person really understands what I'm trying to do, then that's when it all comes together. And that's when you become not just another option, but the only option, like the obvious choice for their project. So don't be afraid to let your personality shine through in your brand story. Be genuine, be passionate, and most importantly, be you, because the clients who resonate with the real you, well, they're the ones you'll do your best work with. Okay, let's recap what we covered. Number one, the importance of a compelling brand story. Number two, the key elements of a brand story. Number three, effective storytelling techniques for us as studio pros. Number four, common pitfalls and how to avoid them. And number five, how to align your brand story with your niche. Now, here's your homework. Start drafting your brand story. Focus on the key elements we discussed and remember to tie everything back to how you serve your ideal clients. In our next and final video of the series, we'll be bringing everything together as we talk about visual branding, so you don't want to miss that episode. And if you want to dive deeper into these topics, I put together the Studio Pro's Guide to Irresistible Branding. The link's in the description. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got tons more content coming on how to thrive in this weird modern music industry. Your story is what sets you apart. If you craft it well and tell it authentically, you'll start watching as clients gravitate toward you. So until next time, keep creating, keep branding, and most importantly, keep being authentically you. Your ideal clients are out there, and now you're one step closer to attracting them. See me in the next video.